the thing about kidneys is similar to the nerves. You can have kidney problems before you even have blood sugar problems. So you can have normal blood sugar and start getting kidney disease. So this morning, today, I had a woman in my office who she has kidney failure. So she's in stage 3 kidney disease, which means she's kind of borderline function. Your kidneys are right on the border of normal. So she's not into normal, she's on the abnormal side. Um, but it's a scale. And so she's not way down the scale that she needs dialysis, but she's lost some kidney function. And so this is dangerous. So we did a whole bunch of tests and she came back for her test results.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Fix Blood Sugar webinar. You know what's really funny is sometimes I go back and I listen to these videos because we have nearly 300 videos out there on YouTube. And I always start saying the exact same thing. And so I was thinking, I need a jingle. I'm just going to make up my own jingle to start these webinars soon because I always say, hello, welcome, so I'm going to work on that. If you have any ideas, let me know because that could be kind of fun.
Dr.
Guys,
Saunders,
we're going to do something different today. Oh, he's thinking about it too.
We can sing, me and Dr. Saunders in the background. We'll kind of lay down a beat, and Leslie, you start kind of.
I'm feeling it.
Boom, chicka, boom, chicka, boom, 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 chicka,
Hello, good morning or good afternoon. No. All right, I'll have to work on that. I'm feeling like it'll be a wrap because that's kind of my personality. So we'll see.
Thanks.
We'll keep you posted, guys.
The wrap.
All right, so welcome. This is the Fixed Blood Sugar webinar, and we're excited that you guys are here. We're going to start a little bit different today because the founder is in the house. Joe Barton, ladies and gentlemen. Let me put it on the correct view here so you can see. And Joe's on most of these, but we thought we're going to take just a quick little moment here to chat with him because some of you may not know about us and how our company came to be. And we had some fun things that happened in 2023 that I feel like you should share. There's some write-ups about how the company started. And I just love it. In fact, you know what? I should have shared that probably in our Barton webinar group. Maybe I did. I probably thought about it and maybe it didn't happen, but that'd be a good thing to do. So if you have questions for Joe, really quick, we're just going to take a couple of minutes. You can post it in the chat. Be kind. Don't write mean things.
No,
I'm not going to read those.
Open and honest. Hey,
well, yeah, you can ask whatever you want. You guys know we do answer all of your questions that aren't very kind. There's only like maybe one per week that we get, but I'm going to let you just take it away, Joe. I think tell us first of all how Barton Nutrition came to be.
Oh boy, I could spend quite a bit of time talking all about that, but let's see, what's something fun? So I used to be an accountant, so I'm more of a business guy, like entrepreneurial. And honestly, like my wife and I, she quit her job so she could stay home with our 2 young boys, and I had to figure out a way to make some extra income. Discovered the world of online marketing and publishing, and started putting out a couple ebooks on natural health. Actually, first one was like ladybug removal, so like pest control. And then kidney stone remedies and acid reflux and gallstones and urinary tract infections. So like a little ebook publishing empire, advertised on Google. And then I was just like flying by the seat of my pants, and I needed like some health credibility because I didn't have much other than my mom and dad both used natural remedies that worked well for them. And lo and behold, I met Dr. Scott Saunders and in a marketing conference in Los Angeles, and we hit it off, sat down next to each other at breakfast, and he's like, I really need some marketing help. And I'm like, I really need some medical help. And we partnered since then. So yeah, it's been over 16, I think we're on our 17th year together now, Dr. Saunders. So that's part of the story. And so built a little business publishing, and then the diabetes solution kit really just started like taking off. Like we just saw more and more demand, and we saw that we were helping people more.
Well,
through
it
that.
happened. It happened. We were at just our little team. I had a team meeting, and one of the team members gets up and says, "Well, we're trying to make this diabetes, but nobody really knows why diabetes happens." And I'm like, "I know why diabetes happens." And so I got up and I gave this whole talk on, and everybody at the end was like, "Wow, can you give a talk on that?" And so we did a diabetes talk, and then we made the book, and then it's like, and everybody's like, "Wow, is it really that?" And
Yeah.
it worked, and so then it just took off from there.
Yeah, that was about 10 years ago. I remember you flew into Sioux Falls, South Dakota in like January, and we hosted it at the church, and I don't know, 100 people showed up, and I don't think you even had a jacket, like a coat, like you were kind of
Nope.
cold and it was below zero and all that. But yeah, I remember we had like 200 pounds of sugar, like 40 bags of 5 pounds of sugar up on stage, and like we did the reveal, like this is how much sugar the average American consumes in 1 year, and this is this is a big reason why people have diabetes. So yeah, that was fun. That was a while ago, and then just since then we've just continued to improve our offerings, and then started these webinars 4.5 years, something like 2019. So
Yeah.
August, and here we are. So I don't know, any other questions come in, or are people ready to get rolling?
Tell us a little bit though how things have shifted. I know you personally, but someone maybe who's just hopping on might think, "Oh, cool, he's just out there to have a business that makes money." And yes, everyone needs to be able to put food on the table, of course, but I think you're not mentioning your heart in this, and you have a really big heart, and I know that that's definitely shaped why you do what you do. And then one of the things that you wrote about recently is how your goal used to be to help more people. How has that changed now?
Yeah, I think so. My business started off as like, yeah, just like an opportunity on publishing online, and having a business that helps provide for my family. And then over the years, it's transformed more into like my purpose and mission, and seeing how we've helped people, and then like implementing, like getting clear on what our core values are. And so like honor God is number one, and then help people is number two, and then we refined it from help people to help people more, and really focusing on like how can we help people more, and like looking at that. And so and I mean, they're just like, when we asked that question, that transformed everything. Like we've implemented so many different things inside the company, and like for example, we have what's called the Barton Blessing Fund, which is sort of an internal thing that we do. We allocate a certain amount of money each month, and we're just like, hey team, be on the lookout for people in your life and your circles that are going through hard times that could use a blessing. And so we send people flowers, we send people cash, we do things for, we had a family at our church that their son just passed away from cancer. We had another family that adopted a child, and he's been in the hospital, and just all sorts of these things that open up. And like that's really our heart, and like we're doubling down on how can we do that more, and like use our business for good. And then I mean, there's just so many other things that we've done that we don't blow the trumpet about, right? But like that's what I love about business together, and having a great team that's all on the same mission and same purpose.
Well, one of
And
the other things for helping people more was the webinar. Who'd have thunk you give a free webinar and give really good information and really help people like on a one-to-one basis, where they can write in and send in a question and go, "What about this? And what about that? And how can I fix this? And how come it's not working for me? And blah, blah, blah." And that's been great. We've had a lot of people say that I've had patients of mine who go on the webinar and they tell me, "These are really good. This is really good because this is how I was able to fix it." What's one thing to read the book, but when you can like week after week go on the webinar and get that information, we repeat the same thing over and over again, and you get it.
Yeah. Yeah. Back in 2018 and 2019, like our business, like, hardly made any profits at all. We were like barely surviving. And it was like me asking God, like, all right, should I wrap this up? Should I go do something else or what? And then the more I just prayed and asked God to show me, that's when he said like doing something like this. And so we sort of started this by faith. And Dr. Saunders, you've always been like a willing, like, yeah, let's do it. That's great. And so appreciate your willingness to do it. We couldn't do it without you. But since that time, like just offering a free webinar, and we don't make money from doing this at all. Like we'll put our products out there and give a coupon code, but like we don't make that, like might make a sale or two a week or something like that. So it's not like we're raking in the dough from this, but the benefits we see is like we interact with our customers and we hear their questions, we hear their struggles, and then we're able to like, well, one, identify or just like feel for like a great closer connection for people, but two, then offer more solutions that can help. So like our supplement line, and a lot of that is from like we hear people saying like, I've got neuropathy and nerve pain, and Dr. Saunders is like alpha lipoic acid and benfotiamine, and I'm like, sweet, let's call it Nervala, and things like that. So well, I guess we had Nervala before the webinar, but other products similar to that type of thing. And just like improving our process and how we deliver things, how we give instructions, when people order their products and get a box in the mail and different things like that. So one other fun fact, and honestly, like I appreciate you asking me this today, because I had a bad day, but then one of those mornings, and I was trying to record some videos upstairs. I couldn't get anything working. My iPad battery was like 3%. Microphone wasn't working. All these different angles. I'm like, oh, this sucks. I'm just not going to do it. So I'm like, I just threw in the towel, and I was supposed to like do this walk on camera. I'm like, hello, everyone, circle. You ever have this problem here? And then I'm like, so I was having a bad day, and I'm like, I just like to be able to share and let you guys know I'm a real person. I do videos every once in a while. I'm hoping somebody can come along and beat me and being a better on stage video guy, but I'm just so good at it. What can I say?
Right. Right.
Uh,
That's true. Someone said, thank God showed you the way, Joe. So that was
Amen.
nice. And Judy said, you can see his heart. Judy said, you don't get to talk to doctors. I thank you so much for all of your work. That's awesome. We're glad you guys are here and you appreciate this. You're the best, though, Esther says.
Oh, thanks, Esther. I appreciate it, but I think Esther would actually do better on doing videos, so maybe we'll have her do some on our team. So,
Oh, that's funny.
all right. Well, hey, thanks for the opportunity to share,
Yeah.
and let's get on with it.
All right.
I'm gonna check out because you guys
Okay.
this. So, thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Joe. Roy
Right.
said, we really appreciate all that you guys do. It has made a really significant change in my life and health. So, wow, that is awesome. Thank you, Roy. We so appreciate that. And it's fun. I love being here because I also get to learn. And when Dr. Saunders teaches, he's not someone who's teaching you things that he learned in medical school, however many years ago, just the other day, right, Dr. Saunders? He's actually like in this stuff. He has patience, he studies, he's a researcher, and that's what we love about him. When we go on team trips with Dr. Saunders, he has to be so annoyed by us. Honestly, I usually see someone over in the corner with him talking probably the entire time that we're together, because everyone really respects him and they appreciate him and his knowledge. And you guys have seen it. Those of you who have been on the webinars for a while, it's like his head is not that big. I don't know where all of this knowledge is getting stored, but there it is. And I love it. It's so good. So definitely, I would say our whole team is filled with faith. And this is definitely a God ordained and planned team, because it works together. We all work together so well. The webinars have come together so well, and you guys are here for a reason too. So
that's a certain type of cloud storage.
Yes, for real. I need to hack into that. I do sometimes. I'm a doctor sometimes because I hacked into the cloud storage. So, all right, let's get started. You know what? Oh, go ahead.
Bobby is raising her hand over there. I don't know what she's raising her hand for. If she's like praising the Lord or what's going on, but I just saw that on Zoom. I thought it was funny. So,
That's funny.
oh yeah. Okay.
Bye, Joe. All right. So actually today, guys, we're going to, of course, be talking about type 2. I want to quick mention that Dr. Saunders is not your doctor. So before you implement anything that we talk about today, please consult with your medical professional. We are going to talk about kidney health. So we took a little extra time today to chat with Joe, which was awesome. And I'm thankful that we got to do that. So I just want to pick your brain a little bit here, Dr. Saunders, as well. Talk to us about what's happening with the kidneys when we have type 2. What do we do? How do we keep them healthy, etc.?
Okay. The thing about kidneys is similar to the nerves. You can have kidney problems before you even have blood sugar problems. So you can have normal blood sugar and start getting kidney disease. So this morning, today, I had a woman in my office who she has kidney failure. So she's in stage 3 kidney disease, which means she's kind of borderline function. Your kidneys are right on the border of normal. So she's not into normal, she's on the abnormal side. But it's a scale. And so she's not way down the scale that she needs dialysis, but she's lost some kidney function. And so this is dangerous. So we did a whole bunch of tests and she came back for her test results today. And her test results show she didn't have any autoimmune kidney disease. She didn't have any genetic kidney disease. She didn't have any inflammatory disease. What she had was a metabolic disease. It's essentially pre-diabetes. Her hemoglobin A1C is only 5.9. Well, 5.9 is not diabetes. And her blood sugar was 98. That's normal. And she already has kidney disease. Okay, so this is not, it's not a small problem. It's a big problem. There are a lot of people who don't know they have this metabolic syndrome where they have insulin resistance, but their blood sugar is still normal. Their insulin's really high, but but it's keeping the blood sugar down, so they don't know they have it. And then they test their kidneys and they're already in renal failure. It's like, what the heck? Why? They don't even have diabetes and they're already having kidney disease. Okay, that's why this is so important. You got to be on this, because what do you do about it? Well, it's the exact same thing that we've been talking about every single week. Getting your insulin resistance down. It's not about blood sugar. So why do we measure blood sugar? Because we have no good way of doing it otherwise. It's kind of like someone who's obese weighing themselves. Well, okay, fine. You can weigh yourself. It's not the best measurement of health, because you can be overweight and be in really good health and not be like insulin resistant or anything. And you could be underweight and be in really bad health. So while it's not a good measure of health, it's really simple. So you can step on a scale and we can say, oh, that's how much you weigh. Oh, you've lost 5 pounds. Well, you're losing some more weight. This is a good thing. What that means is you're burning fat. That's what you need to do, burn fat. So it's a marker. Well, the glucose is a marker as well. It's not the end of everything. But if you have something like a continuous glucose monitor, for example, you can measure your glucose continuously. And if you say, gosh, every time I eat, it shoots up like that, then it's like, okay, then what are you eating, and how much do you eat, and when are you eating, and all of those questions come up, because that'll give an idea of what you can do. The Diabetes Solution Kit is for everyone who is pre-diabetes, insulin resistance. It's not just about high blood sugar. So the kidneys are a good marker for that. If you know anybody talks to you and say, yeah, I don't even have diabetes or anything, but my kidneys are already failing. And the doctor said that, yeah, we're going to just wait until it gets to 20% function and then they'll put me on dialysis. And I'm like, don't do it. That's not the way to do it. That's the way we're taught in medical school, but it's not a good way. Protecting your kidneys, how? Okay, now we're getting into the meat of it. Do phase 1. Get the book, do phase 1. You don't have to buy the print book. You can get the online book instantly. And then you start that program right away. Why? Because that's going to get your insulin resistance down. That's going to make you insulin sensitive. And if you're insulin sensitive, then you're going to get glucose, sugar into those kidney cells so that they can regenerate, so that they can be able to filter your blood well. If you're insulin resistant, then you can't get glucose into those cells, and they don't regenerate. You also can't get amino acids into those cells. So those filters, it's like poking holes in your coffee filter and not putting a new filter in there. Then you're going to get sediment in your coffee. That's what's happening in the urine. There's sediment. There's proteins that are getting out of your blood and into the urine. That's because there's holes in the filter, and that will repair to some extent, depending on how extensive it is. The worse it gets, of course, the less repair you're going to get. So if you have, like, you can go from stage 3 to stage 2 if you repair those. And so the way to repair is to be insulin sensitive. So insulin sensitivity comes from having an empty stomach, so limiting the amount of time that you eat in a day. So if you have 2 meals a day, 8 a.m., 4 p.m., that's a great way to do it. And then there's one other thing you can do. So we have 3 things, right? We have the diabetes solution kit, do the diet. Number 2, shorten the amount of time in your eating window, 8 a.m., 4 p.m., 2 meals a day. And then number 3, a half a teaspoon of baking soda in water every morning. Just do that once a day in water, and it makes the urine more alkaline, and it protects the kidneys from progressing to renal failure.
Awesome. This is good information. Guys, feel free to post your questions in the Q&A. I'm getting some in the chat, but if you can do in the Q&A, it's easier for us to manage those. And I see a lot of them coming in. So I'm just going to dig right into them. Okay, Michelle said, what should the insulin test reading be and why?
Okay, a fasting insulin level should be around 5. Okay, so when you get your test results back and it says anywhere between 3 and 25, that really wide range, why? Well, it's because they're looking at an average. And average people have insulin resistance these days. Most of our society is overweight, and more than a third are obese. So because of that, the significant insulin resistance, you're looking at an average. Average is not good. It needs to be around 5. Why? Because what that means is you need very little insulin on a fasting. You don't make insulin while you're fasting. That's what that means. So if it's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, somewhere in there, it's okay. So around 5.
Okay, so Michelle had also asked, what is the optimal range of glucose 2 hours after the beginning of a meal?
2 hours after a meal. Okay, so after you eat a meal and it goes up to 120, that's fine. If it stays around 100 to 110, that's great. If it goes up to 150, that's too high.
All right. Francis says, hi, my husband has been taking Nervala for about 3.5 months. After about 3 months, he noticed an improvement with the tingling and pain in his feet and hands, but the last 2 weeks, it's happening more often again. Could this be through maybe taking more sugary things, or what could be happening there?
Okay, all of the above. So here's part of the problem with Nervala is if you have like numbness and some of your nerves aren't working and you start taking Nervala, and it usually takes 90 days is not unusual. They had people between 3 and 6 months on benfotiamine alpha lipoic acid combination. That as your nerves start waking up, you get more tingling sensation or burning sensation. And that is, while it's hard to deal with, it's actually often a good sign, meaning that the nerves are regenerating, that they're coming back to life. Whereas before they weren't working at all and you didn't feel them. And now you start feeling them and you're getting tingling. So that could be part of it. Another part, if it seemed to be better, like more sensation, and now it's getting less, yes, consider that if he's eating sugar and getting more insulin resistant, then you're not getting sugar into the nerve cells.
Okay, Jim said, I watched a video that emphasized how alpha lipoic acid is important in glucose metabolism. Could Dr. Saunders describe the relationship between metformin as a prescription drug for glucose control and alpha lipoic acid as a nutritional supplement?
Okay. So while metformin and berberine kind of do the same thing, alpha lipoic acid is completely different. It's not even related. So you can use alpha lipoic acid and metformin together. It doesn't have to be like an either or situation because they're doing different things. Metformin is making more cyclic AMP. It's telling your body to burn fat for energy. So remember, insulin blocks you from burning fat from energy. So when you have high insulin levels, you're insulin resistant. Then the metformin says, hey, you can burn fat for energy. It like turns on that process so that you can. And so that's how metformin works. Alpha lipoic acid is completely different. It works in the mitochondria, the energy production. It's both fat soluble and water soluble, and it's an antioxidant. So it grabs up oxygen-free radicals and protects the mitochondria and allows more energy to be made. So it's an entirely different process.
Okay, let's see. Francis said, some days my husband has noticed his vision is more blurry than other days and slurred speech, like his brain is not connecting properly. Is this because he might have a low, that's it, sugar?
Blood sugar. Yeah. Low blood sugar can do that. High blood sugar can do that. The wide fluctuations in blood sugar can do that. So as your blood sugar goes up, your eyeballs actually get bigger. And so you get more blurry, or the other way around. If your blood sugar is going down, your eyeballs are shrinking down, then they're going to get blurry. Or at some point in there, you're going to have good vision. It's kind of like, you're focusing your camera or you're focusing a telescope or binoculars or something. That's kind of what's happening in the eyeballs as the blood sugar is going up and down. The eyeballs are changing size, literally size, because of the osmotic pressure from the sugar. So that could be also with speech things that could be low blood sugar. And remember, if you have insulin resistance and you can't get very much glucose through the blood-brain barrier because those proteins that are supposed to bring it in aren't very many there. And then the blood sugar drops a little bit lower on that side, then there's less to bring in. So yeah, that could be just hypoglycemia.
Michelle says, what is the ratio of black pepper to turmeric to make it absorbable?
Gosh, I don't know what the ratio is.
Yeah.
We went into UST and discussed this. And they talked about the formulations and I remember we had talked about it, but I don't know what the exact ratio is. But you know what's really interesting? I was making some curry, and I looked in the curry powder, and it had turmeric and black pepper in the curry powder, and I was like, wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. All right. Roy is asking if vertigo is a health issue that is related to diabetes, or is it from something else? Is it a thing that supplements can help? I don't understand what vertigo is. Help.
Okay. Vertigo is not specifically related to diabetes, but you can get vertigo from swings in blood sugar from the same reason your eyeballs get focused or out of focus, from changes in blood sugar. The osmotic pressure changes how much pressure is in the vestibular system in your ears as well. And so that pressure change can sometimes be felt as vertigo. And so some people can get it, but it's not specifically related to diabetes. Anybody can get vertigo. People get vertigo for other reasons. There's one theory that seems to bear fruit, and that is the system is so amazing. You have this system of little channels of water, it's fluid, that go, one goes this way, one goes this way, and one goes sideways. And when you move, then the water kind of stays there, you know, and then there are little hair cells on there that move with it. And underneath the hair cells, there's like sand. It's like beach sand. It's little teeny grains of sand inside there. And when one of those gets pushed against a hair cell, then it's telling, your hair cell is bent, so it's telling you you're spinning around, but you're not spinning around. It's kind of like when you get off the merry-go-round and you step off the merry-go-round and you're like, whoa, because the fluid in those little in the vestibular system is still spinning, and they're pushing the hair cells over, and it's sending a signal to your brain going, I'm turning this way, and you're not turning that way. So if those little hair cells move, then it's going to tell, your brain is going to be telling you that you're spinning when you're really not. That's vertigo. So why it happens is, well, there are a lot of different reasons. There's tumors. There's something called Meniere's disease, which is an effect on the actual production of the fluid in your vestibular system. There's those sand particles that push against the hair cells. That's the common benign positional vertigo, it's called. And then diabetes can contribute to that for a different reason, yes.
Does dehydration?
And dehydration, it can affect it, but not likely a cause of it. Dehydration, when someone's dehydrated and they stand up and they go, whoa, they're getting dizzy, that's lightheaded because you don't have enough blood to get up to your brain. So your blood runs out of your head, and that's why you're feeling lightheaded, like you're going to pass out. That's not vertigo. Vertigo is the room spinning around. And usually it's like, if I turn this way, it spins like crazy, but I can look up and down. Other people, if they look up and down, they go, it'll spin like crazy, but they can turn sideways and it doesn't bother them. And that tells you that that's a benign positional.
Okay, that's not fun. Okay, I saw a couple messages. Can blood pressure change cause vertigo?
Blood pressure change. It might be the other way around. It might be that vertigo, well, there might be a relationship between vertigo and blood pressure, but the blood pressure isn't specifically causing the vertigo. It's unlikely that they could be related, like changes in electrolytes, changes in blood sugar, changes in pressure in your head, or the blood flow. But people with high blood pressure, that's not the cause.
Okay.
A cause.
I saw several messages come through with some confusion about baking soda or baking powder and how often.
Don't use baking powder. That's aluminum, not good. This is bicarbonate, sodium bicarbonate, which is baking soda. And it's a half a teaspoon. Just put it in water once a day. And some people do it twice a day. I've seen studies both ways, and either way is fine.
Okay. All right. Terry says, why isn't there a bigger push for the food industry to make healthier food products? With diabetes and other diseases increasing overall, you would think there would be more pressure from the insurance industry to push for healthier foods too. It seems there are so many products that make people sick. Is this the same old thing, money and politics?
No, well, money in a sense, but it's convenience. My wife goes to Costco and she buys a lot of really good food, and these are like she's got like spinach and cilantro and a lot of fruit and avocados and all this good stuff. There's celery and carrots, and they fill it. They fill up the refrigerator. And then she gets some of those tamales and what else does she usually get? Uh, and those the hamburger patties that are made and all that. And so the kids come in the refrigerator and they say there's nothing in the refrigerator and it's full of good food. And so but if there's like tamales or something in there, then they'll go ahead and have tamales, and all the good food rots, and so we throw the good food away.
Yep.
So people who don't think like my wife and don't buy good food, they go, well, I'm just going to buy what I eat, and so they're only going to buy the hot dogs and tamales and whatever other chips and all that stuff. So it's not so much that the the food manufacturers are creating it. It's people are buying what they eat, and they eat for convenience and taste. And go, and I don't want to have to chop up some carrots and make a salad. I don't know. So it's probably more convenience than anything.
Yes, and time. Yes, we talk about this a lot at home. To cook, say you cook 2 meals a day, you cook, clean up, and eat, and that is hours often if you're eating good food. So I get it. It is hard. It is hard. Lots of stuff coming through. Yes, convenience food. I know. Oh, I have kids that do the same thing to my refrigerator, Dr. Saunders. It can be fully loaded and there is nothing in there. All right. Oh. And they're both in middle school.
When the kids were really little, they'd come, I'm hungry. Okay, you can have a fruit or a vegetable anytime you want without asking. You don't have to ask. But I'm hungry. I know, you can have a fruit or a vegetable anytime you want without asking.
Those of you who are trying to watch your carbs, I just saw someone post. Actually, I can't remember. We might have this in the diabetes solution kit, or we've talked about it. I don't know. But where people take a half a pepper, put a little bit of cream, like a red pepper, a little bit of cream cheese in there, and then some everything but the bagel seasoning.
Yeah.
Sounds really good. So
Yeah.
that might be a little snack option for some of you. If you do cream cheese or dairy, of course. But
and the celery peanut butter thing was one too.
Yep. Yeah. My kids aren't as impressed with those. When they were little, they thought those things were really fun. Now they're not as excited about it. I don't know. They'll still do apples and peanut butter though. Okay. Steve says, what is the process for weaning myself off of insulin injections? I presume I need to get my blood sugar below 100 using diet, exercise, and supplements, and then taper off the insulin.
Okay. First step, 4 tests you need. You need glucose, hemoglobin A1C, C-peptide, and insulin. You don't know how much insulin your pancreas is making. So if you're injecting insulin, you have to do the C-peptide, because you won't know how much insulin is coming from your injections and how much is coming from your pancreas. So you need all 4 of those tests to tell you where you are to begin with. So before thinking about, I got to get off insulin, you need to know how much insulin your pancreas is making. Because if your pancreas is putting out a ton of insulin, if you say, your insulin level is, 50, that's pretty high, but people who are injecting often do get that high. But the C-peptide is 0.5, then you've got a pancreas problem, and you're not going to get off insulin right away until you fix what the pancreas is doing. And that's actually a thing. You can actually do that. So do the tests first, find out how your pancreas is functioning. Because if your insulin is 50 and your C-peptide is 4, then you're making a ton of insulin from your pancreas, and you don't need injections at all. So you need the test first.
All right. And I posted those tests, guys, in the chat and on Facebook. Let me see here. some of these things that are coming through the chat, guys, I can't get to them all. If you want to post questions in the Q&A, that helps me so much. I did see, this is good information from Fred. A number of years ago, I had severe bouts of vertigo, went to a well-known dizziness specialist at Boston Ear, Nose, and Throat Hospital. He recommended reducing my salt intake through potato chips, etc., and reduce the amount of coffee. In my particular case, that cured it overnight. Interesting.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I forgot to mention coffee. Coffee does its caffeine affects something called adenosine, which can help vertigo.
Okay, a good question here from Anonymous. Can diabetes cause high blood pressure?
Okay. Yes, but not for the reason you're thinking. It's not directly. It's very indirect. So why does the blood pressure go up? Blood pressure goes up when there's a need for more blood flow. So what would need more blood flow? Well, your brain. If your brain needs more blood flow, the blood pressure goes up. If your kidneys need more blood flow, the blood pressure goes up. If your heart needs more blood flow, the blood pressure goes up. So here you have diabetes, and before you even get high blood sugar, you're starting to get neuropathy. Your blood-brain barrier does not allow glucose to get through, and the number of glucose transport molecules is less and less and less, so that you're bringing a small amount of sugar into your brain, and your brain is going, hey, I need more. I'm not getting enough energy here. So what does it do? Raises the blood pressure. It's the only way the brain has of getting more blood flow, getting more sugar. But there's still the problem. The problem is there's not enough glucose molecules. So you're getting more circulation, your blood pressure's going up, but it's not getting enough still. So the blood pressure goes up and up and up and stays high all the time. As the brain is going, hey, I need more, need more, need more. So the cause of that is the decreased glucose transport. And so what do you do about that? Well, that's why we have the diabetes solution kit. When your insulin resistance comes down, when you're very insulin sensitive, your blood pressure will just come to normal. And we've had a lot of people on this program, they've come and said, wow, my blood pressure went down too. Yeah, that's what it's supposed to do, because now everything is getting sugar the way it's supposed to, including your kidneys, which we talked about earlier.
You guys, you can also find the diabetes solution kit at bartonwebinar.com. I'm going to post that in the chat here. I had a question from Jim and Becky. Can Jim take krill oil and turmeric supplements while on other supplements like Synachroma, Nervala, Gut Restore, apple cider vinegar?
Yes. So consider each one of those. If you take the Nervala, apple cider vinegar, Gut Restore, and then the fish oil and turmeric, that's all what? Food. It's food. So that's like saying, can I have rice with my beans? Well, you can't because you're on the diabetes solution kit. Can I add meat in there? Yeah, you can add meat. Can I have fish with my salad? Yes, you can. So yes, you can take all of those at the same time. And it's better to take them with food because you actually absorb them better.
Okay, question from Beverly. I recently purchased the diabetes solution kit and 3 bottles of Synachroma. I have pre-diabetes at 81, and although I had gestational diabetes in my 30s, no more abnormalities showed until recently. My A1C was 6.1. My doc says he'd prefer 5.7. I wonder why I would need any additional supplements provided I detox from the carbs and take Synachroma. I suspect my radical reduction of sugar during pregnancy and most of the time since has kept the beast at bay. And it is my newly relaxed dietary habits that sent the readings up. So I'm reluctant to add anything that I don't need to add. Playing fair though, I have had labile hypertension for at least 35 years. And yes, waiting in the wings, I also bought the high blood pressure solution kit and 3 bottles of turmeric BP. Advice?
Okay, I agree. So I agree with everything you said. There's nothing that you need to do besides changing your diet. You talk about your relaxed diet, and then you bring it back to, okay, I'm not going to eat sugar anymore, which you did for many years, and it worked, right? So that's good. Synochroma, the purpose is for support, to make sure you have enough of those nutrients so that you can process sugar well. That's fine. It's not a diabetes solution. It doesn't fix the problem. It's really the diabetes solution kit is not synochroma. That's not even part of it. That's a separate thing. And some people need that and some people don't. The solution is to detox from the carbs. And that's essentially what the solution kit is. And then on the other side, the turmeric with hypertension is a good idea, but you may find that when you're insulin sensitive, that you don't have high blood pressure. We just talked about that.
Awesome. Okay. More questions. Mary says, is it all right to take Nervala as a preventative, or is that not necessary?
It's not necessary. I suppose you could. The best preventative is actually to do the diabetes solution kit. Do phase 1, get insulin sensitive, because that's where you're going to start repairing the blood vessels and getting your nerves, getting energy to your nerves and everything. So I think the best preventative would be just to do the diabetes solution kit.
Okay. Another question from Beverly. I just started synochroma, and of course I read the label. I noticed that the therapeutic dose of vitamin D3, 125 micrograms. I was already taking 2000 IU of D3, but I have dropped it because D is a fat soluble vitamin. Too much might be a danger. This begs the question about all of the ingredients in the supplements that my Barton coach is recommending. I'll read all the labels and I will have more questions. Any thoughts about that?
The answer is yes. that I don't know.
Well, if she's taking vitamin D, she's already taking 2000 IUs of vitamin D.
Adding more
dropped it because she thought she was going to get too much if she also added synochroma. But synochroma, so then basically you're getting 8000 IUs of D3, which is that harmful?
No, actually between 5 and 10,000 is really kind of the optimum place.
And she's 81. Anyway. If this is the same Beverly that I read the last question from, she's 81.
Yeah. So that's not going to be an issue by itself. But yeah, some people are taking 10,000 units of vitamin D and synochroma. They're thinking this is like some cinnamon thing and don't read the label and look at the vitamin D. So they could double up, which wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing, but yeah.
And the benefit of the synochroma too is that you're getting the selenium and you're getting the chromium. If that's, just something to think about if you decide to not take it.
Yeah.
Versus taking just your D3. You also need the vitamin K as well. Yes. So, right. Really, think about that. Okay. All right. More questions. Okay. Johnson says, is Joe still on here? Joe, if you're still here, this is a marketing question that maybe I'll let you address. And let's see. Wilf says, what about someone like me who has to work 12-hour shifts, who can't just eat 2 meals a day? What is the best kind of meals or snacks to eat on the job throughout the night?
Okay. That's a difficult problem. And that's something, there's a book called The Circadian Code by Sachin Panda. And he talks about that a little bit, how you're going to manage your circadian rhythm when you're working nights and working 12 hours, and when are you going to eat, and when's the best time to eat, or how's the best way to eat. And he addresses that in the book because that's not an easy problem. And especially if you're changing, like from one shift to another, one 12-hour shift, a night shift, and then a day shift, or you work 12-hour shifts, so you're working 3 days a week, and then the other 4 days of the week, you're sleeping at night and or trying to change your schedule. That's actually more important than just the diet, the food. But the food is an important part of that, but your sleep schedule is an important part of that too, because the evidence shows that just changing 2 time zones, going 2 hours away into a time zone that's 2 hours away, completely disrupts your circadian rhythm and changes how your body functions and how you digest food and everything. So doing this on a constant basis, back and forth, or however your schedule works, I would say get the book, read the book, and try to follow it the best you can with your schedule.
All right. I'm hoping Joe will hop on here, but this is from Johnson. Please ask Joe. I received a few video emails from him, and I get a lot of questions about this one too. The rum and peanuts email that you guys, or video that you've seen, and then also about the bowl of Rice Krispies. People are just kind of curious about these things, and often
and the cinnamon donuts.
Yes, and this is what I will say. First of all, the things that you're getting, there is a lot of truth to them. They're not just making stuff up. There is really good information in there, actually. But what Dr. Saunders would recommend is forego those. Part of that is so that we can get you here so you can hear the truth. And that's actually
that's actually that's what Johnson said.
Yeah. Yes. And he would just say, use the diabetes solution kit. You don't even need to worry about those. Use the diabetes solution kit if you want to really make a difference in your blood sugar. Anything else you want to add to that? Or Joe, if you're on? I don't think he is, but I think that's what I would say. Let me see here. What is the difference between diabetic neuropathy and other forms of neuropathy?
Oh, there's a lot of different reasons for having neuropathy. So if you have neuropathy, it is a very good idea to know why you have neuropathy. So for neuropathy only means nerve damage. There's something wrong with the nerves. And diabetic neuropathy happens because of not getting enough glucose, not getting enough energy into those nerve cells. And a lot of that could be from circulation. So you can have neuropathy just from poor circulation and not have diabetes just from circulatory problems. You can also get neuropathy from deficiencies of all kinds, vitamin B, especially B9, B12, folic acid, B9, B6, B1, vitamin B1. In fact, benfotiamine is vitamin B1, and we put that in Nervala to help neuropathy. So neuropathy is a very general term. It can be autoimmune, it could be deficiencies, it can be toxicities. You get neuropathy from mercury and lead. There's just so many reasons for getting neuropathy that that you need to specifically know why you have neuropathy if you have it.
Okay. Nancy sent a message that says, my husband Tim has been on the program since November with pretty good results. Taking the supplements from Barton, changed his eating habits and exercising more. The doctor has taken him off metformin and lowered his dose of hydrochlorothiazide. I think I said that right, did I?
You did. Perfect.
All right. I mean, look at me, guys. Whew. His morning sugar levels have been stuck between 110 and 120 for about 6 weeks. What more can we do?
Okay, do phase 1. I know you said we're doing it. Okay, so going back to phase 1 and saying, okay, looking for sources of glucose. I've had several people, and actually one of the doctors, I was reading a book on fasting, and she said people who are stuck, if they do a 24-hour fast, they will often become unstuck. Or a 36-hour fast, they'll often become unstuck. And that is the equivalent of like you eat your evening meal and then you don't eat the next day and you eat the morning meal of the following day, that kind of thing. And that what that does is that switches you from sugar burning to fat burning and allows that fat burning process to happen. So, fasting is a really good way to get unstuck. Another way to do it is just to shorten your window of eating. So if you're doing an 8-hour window of eating, shorten it down to like a 5-hour window of eating. So you only eat at 8 a.m. and 1 p.m. And then that will often change that.
How about testing? Is this a good time to consider testing?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Try this first, probably.
Yeah, you should know anyway what your insulin, C-peptide, glucose, A1C, you should know what those 4 things are.
Okay. All right. Questions. Oh boy, we're running out of time. Okay. Paul says I just got my first fasting insulin lab test and it's 13.8. The acceptable range on the lab report says 2.6 to 24.9. Is this an example of the average being unacceptable?
Yes, the average is unacceptable. And ideally 13 is high. You're making a lot of insulin on a fasting specimen. It should be around 5. So anything over 10 is definitely high. Under 10 is like, you're probably okay. But think of it on a scale, and you really want it to be down to 5. You really want to have insulin sensitivity. And if you're really sensitive to insulin, you don't have to make very much. So it should be way down around 5.
Great. One more question. Okay, let me see here. Now, all right, Anne says, I have fasted for 3 weeks and I'm coming off of the fast. When I am done, will it be okay to do the carnivore diet with our own grass-fed beef and chickens?
Oh, wow. Yeah. That's interesting. I was just doing some research on the probiotics and prebiotics, and how does diet change the bacteria in your intestines. And people who went on a carnivore diet, like within 1 day, they had changes to their microbiome is what I was trying to think of. Those changes happened in 1 day. It was really fast, and they actually on the carnivore diet grew more different types of bacteria than people who went the other way, switching to a vegan type diet. So the answer to the question is yes, you can do that.
Interesting. Okay, cool. Is it hard to come off of a fast and go right into meat? No? Okay.
Yeah, you can come off a fast and go into anything. But what's interesting, if some of the old books, Sinclair Lewis, right, wrote a book called, Upton Sinclair, I'm sorry. Upton Sinclair wrote a book called The Fasting Cure, and this was 1910. So this is 100 years ago, more than 100 years ago, he wrote this book. And it was before diabetes was a big deal, and he was curing all kinds of, it was before antibiotics, and he was curing tuberculosis with fasting. And so he would put people on 2-week fast, 30-day fast, all the time, 19 days. It was always like, between 2 and 4 weeks, usually. And they were only drinking water. And then he talks about coming off the fast, and he says that at first they started with milk. They thought milk would be a great thing to come up fast. And he goes, it caused diarrhea. It really did not go over well. And then he did for a while. He said he just came off the fast and just ate meat, and that was okay. And then, but after a while, in the last chapter, he talked about that if he ate a lot of fruit and vegetables, then it seemed to work for his colon better. After fasting for a long time.
Interesting. Okay. All right, Dr. Saunders, thank you so much. See you tomorrow for the Healthy Heart webinar.
Hasta mañana.
Yes. And those of you who are joining us tomorrow, or if you have no idea what I'm talking about, you can register for the Healthy Heart webinar at bartonwebinar.com. And it's a free webinar that we do at 12 noon Central on Thursdays, where we talk about how to keep your heart healthy, or maybe you've had some heart issues in the past and you want to learn about what you can do to reverse those issues or to keep yourself healthy. So I think that's it. We'll see the rest of you next week, same time, same place. Thank you for joining us today. I'm sorry we couldn't get to all of your questions, but we do as many as we can. And hi, Joe.
Hi.
Anything you want to add?
Nope. Great job.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
As always.
All right. Thank you guys for being here. We will see you soon. Have a good day.